So please remember that we are recording our meetings. A lot of people that have been able to follow them later on. We have to understand as well that there are not so many material in English, especially, that people can access from so many different points of the world. If you have any problem in showing your face or your name, just remove, the screen and your name as well, okay? So we are going to continue with the study of the book Alert by the spirit Joanna de Angelis, Divaldo Franco. Today we are on chapter 7. We are going to talk about the techniques of life. And as always, I decided to bring it both the texts in Portuguese and in English to make it easier for everyone that may be following and may find it easier to read the Portuguese, especially because Joanna de Angelis texts are very difficult for our level of understanding. So today is the techniques of life. Life is a gift of love, whatever and however it is expressed. Divine breath institutes blessings in whatever form it is manifested. Joys and sorrows, happiness and misery, health and sickness, power and poverty are experiences which the spirit goes through in its evolutionary process. Owner of your own actions, you are reborn to grow, recapitulating in successful labors, learning new lessons, overcoming yourself. Error and rectification, failure and triumph constitute techniques to reinforce learning, which frees you from passions by purging the real values of goodness. So in this chapter, Joanna de Angelis is going to be explaining to us the purpose of life, basically, and how life on the material plane can help us in this process of growth. So first of all, she starts by saying that life is a gift of love. So whenever we feel sad and rebellious or upset with things that are happening to us, and sometimes it even comes to our mind thinking, I didn't ask to be born or to live. Let us remember that life is a gift of love. It is true life that was given to us by the divine breath, like it says here, that we have the opportunity of moving up, of and understanding and co-participating even more in the work of the creation. But it is part of life to experience both sides of the coin. So sometimes we will have, good moments, good experiences, we'll be in good health. And other times we will be facing difficulties. We will be seeing sorrow. We will be unhealthy. We will experience poverty, for instance. However, we have always to remember that whatever we are experiencing in life that is negative or positive, it is a result of our own doing. We may qualify our trials in different aspects. We even use different words for that. We say trials, we say challenges, we say expiations, we say atonement. When it is related, expiation and atonement, when it is related to the return of negative actions that we have committed. But when we are talking about coming to life and experiencing life and be challenged in a way that a student is challenged when it is going to, all the different degrees in school, it is the same thing here. So uh, challenges are not necessarily bad, are not necessarily what should bring us sadness and health or sorrows. What represents this are exactly our behaviors, our errors that are now in need of being rectified. So we have to understand that in order to eliminate all those negative things from us and to work each time more, acquiring the real values of goodness. Comments, questions? Let's see if we have you. Anything? Uh, we have a comment here. Life is a product of good and evil being the stronger. The thing is, and this is one of the things that we learn when we are studying in the Spirit's book and even the Gospel according to Spiritism, there are different categories of spirits and there are different categories of inhabited worlds. Our world is still in a low level category, not only related to its physical aspects, because as we see, we still are subject to a lot of, uh, results of commotions and calamities, physical calamities that our world goes through, the volcanoes, the tectonic plates, and hurricanes, and all of that is like, our planet, physically speaking, is still growing and forming and getting into the right shape. And we feel that. But we also have the category of spirits ourselves that are still also from a low level category. So if you go visit a city and they take you to the most prominent uh, the, neighborhood of the city, you only see that in that city. Your impression will be, well, everyone here is very well, look at the mansions, look how they live. If they take us just to the uh, um, slums or the favelas, like we say, area of a city, we will have the impression, oh my God, it's only that we have in this city. So by looking at Earth and looking at the average uh, human beings that live here, we may have the impression that these are the only categories of spirits that exist. And then you will say, okay, the low level individuals prevail. they may still prevail on planet Earth, but this is not a reality when we are talking about the universe. And they may prevail on our uh, understanding, because this is what we are seeing now. We are not necessarily seeing other things that are happening. Remember that a couple of weeks ago I mentioned, this aspect of we normally say that people, in the news, they disseminate much more, what is bad than what is good. And now we have been having more, good initiatives because of the sense of compassion and collaboration and brotherhood that has been impacting us all in terms of helping each other due to the pandemic. So it wouldn't be exactly wrong to say that we still see evil prevailing because of the level of our planet, but this is changing. And this is not, absolutely not, what we are talking in terms of creation, the whole creation. Okay, if I go to a kindergarten school, I'll say, wow, they only have children here. They don't have teenagers. Yeah, sure, it's a kindergarten school. What are you expecting to see? So this is still a planet of trials and atonements. What am I expected to see in a planet of this category? See? Any questions or comments? Okay, so
Clara,
let's go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
uh, I was studying a lesson from the book Our Daily Bread, lesson 56, Success and Failure. And in the end of the lesson is what I sent by text. It's so
Okay.
compatible of the first paragraph. Success and failure are two cups filled with diverse elements that may nonetheless be adapted to the same sublime purpose. Human ignorance, however, finds the liquor not exhilaration in the first, and the bile of desperation in the second. Therein lies a profound mistake, because the wise person will extract the divine content from happiness and pain, abundance or scarcity. So as more I think we start to study this doctrine, we see there is no negative experience. It's just an experience. I might go through scars today because there's lessons behind that that will help me to improve. I might go to abundance, financially speaking, because there's lessons to be addressed as well. I go through sometimes sickness that will allow me to learn some skills in this planet that will be good for me. I'm going through a very health experience, physically speaking, because also there are lessons. I don't think when you put values on the lesson, we take the opportunity to learn in the same level, because if God is love, He in unconditional love, He would not give privilege to any one of his children. By the end of the day, it's just different class, but it's still class, yeah.
And yeah, absolutely. And I was thinking also, Adilson, it's hard. It's that same conundrum of who was born first, the chicken or the egg. Because here, I mean, we were not created to suffering. Maybe, we were created to challenge, because, normally it's only challenges that make us move and think about strategies to overcome situations. So here, uh, for our planet and line of evolvement that we have chosen, it is, this cup filled with diverse elements. But maybe for other planets that have chosen a more linear way of evolving, we will not find the same things. So everything is a result of what we have been doing from the beginning, from when we were invited to come to this earth. And it keeps on being like this. We want to change the scenery. It's up to us, individuals. It's one thing that we keep on saying. It seems so easy, us, for us to go and try to influence others, to make others change, when what we should be doing is to do that for ourselves. So we use a lot of precious time trying to convince others to change others, and we are not looking and paying attention at ourselves and doing those changes in ourselves. If each one of us would be more worried about, us, I guess maybe we would be seeing more results than just trying to fight against the world and not setting an example. Okay, let's look at another paragraph here. Life acts in a circular pattern. Everything that is transformed into thought and action expands and returns to the point of departure. Any vibrational emission follows a line through which it projects and retakes the fulcrum that generates the force that propels it. If you think positive, it will be good for you. If you think negative, you are not well. It is imperative to correct your mental position in order to educate your impulses. Mind and action establish cause and effect that interrelate with each other. Well, this part here is absolutely fantastic. I mean, we think about even the book Thought in Life, we will think Joanna de Angelis saying here, whatever you are thinking and whatever you are actually doing, it doesn't matter, it's the same. It's going to send something into the world, and this is going to return to you. I call this the boomerang effect. Whatever we think, whatever we do, we are throwing a boomerang into the world. And this is going, and a boomerang always comes to the point of origin, the point of departure, as it says here. So, what do I want from the world? It's very much impacted by what am I sending to the world. And this is something that we should take control. Our problem is that we don't. Our problem is that we take for granted that every negative thought that I have, it's not going to do any harm. Or when I'm gossiping and doing malice comments in relation to other people, I think, oh no, this is not it's just here between us. No, we are sending this energy out in the world. And we are not even talking about, spirits that will attune with it, that will even increase the power. No, just us. Just our energy that we are sending and connecting with the person, with the circumstances that we are criticizing. It's enough to create a problem. Let's say for example, we are there, two friends talking, not so good about a third friend. But it's just between the two of us. The other friend doesn't even know what we are talking about. Well, not really. This third friend that we are, talking negatively about him or her, will feel the energy that we are sending. Next time we meet this person perhaps may not be that open with us, and we have no clue why this person not so warm with me like usually this person is. Because somehow it felt the negativity that we were sending, even if no one said anything out loud to the person. So it's very important what Joanna de Angelis is telling us here. We have to educate our impulses. We have to educate our mind and our actions, because otherwise is what she says here is the law of cause and effect. You don't want a bad things to happening to you. There is just one way for this to be a reality. Don't do anything bad. Any comments, question? Let's read this another one. If you were unsuccessful in an attempt, forget it and start over optimistically. If you have gone through difficult times that have profoundly marked you, forget and proceed. If you suffered obstinate illnesses, free yourself from the memory and live. If you have tasted the bitterness of ingratitude several times, forgive and move forward. If you have lost properties and great fortunes, restart and produce. There is always a new opportunity when there is a will to succeed. The complaint booth is always replete with tormented people. Meanwhile, the one for gratitude remains empty. So, in other words, she's saying it is no use to cry over spilled milk. And this is one thing that we tend to do a lot. We tend to focus on the negative things that has happened to us without clearly perceiving that this can be a hindrance to our present and future happiness. If I just keep thinking about what happened or what could I have done, what if I have done this, or what if I had done that, if you didn't grow up, overcome that, move on. This is what she's saying. There is no field of life that we are going to get any kind of advantageous thing if you remain, uh, in this negativity. I wasn't successful. I went through illness. I had a difficult childhood. I had difficult siblings. What is it going to help me now? How can this actually help me in growing and move along? So this is what she's saying here, and that's why the complaint booth is always filled with rebellious people, tormented people, unbalanced people. And the gratitude, how many times we remember to actually say, or send a thought to the world, to the universe of gratitude for all the opportunities we have. Even when we're going through ordeals that are hard, uh, we have to think about the good things. When we experience illnesses or even the loss of a loved ones, it's obviously we are going to be feeling sad, and it's not what we want to happen. But we also should remember, the good times we had or we've been having with this person, how much this person has impacted us in what we are today, what we represent today. So instead of, singing a hymn of gratitude after the person is long gone, what about singing a hymn of gratitude now, with thoughts with words that we can verbalize to them while they are here with us. That's why, we have this tendency of only talk, of only seeing the good things of someone when this person is dead. What's the point? I mean, we never express it how much, you know, we appreciate what they did. Were they perfect? Absolutely not. We are not. No one is in our level of involvement. But we should think about it. We should think about being grateful to each and every life that has crossed our ways and how much we have grown because of their presence in our lives. Um, I'm seeing your comment here, Orlando. It's struggles, like we said here in the first paragraph, are part of life. And again, there is this thing that we keep on refusing to accept, which is we are the artisans of our own life. So if we are in a bad circumstances right now, suffering from whatever reason, it's not because God has singled us out and say, "Oh, those people are going to suffer. They are going to have the worst." It is part of the process. It's exactly what Adilson read in this passage from our daily bread. Whether we are experiencing the cup of success or the cup of failure, it doesn't mean that one is better for us than the other one. Quite often, unfortunately, the bitter one helps us more in the process of growing than the sweet one. How many people are experiencing, uh, you know, so much easiness in their lives, and they are not advancing like the others? So perhaps what we are envying now, uh, because we are always thinking about the material perspective. When we are back in the spiritual world, we would say, you know what, thank God I had to try the cup of bitterness, because this is what it make me, being a much better situation, from to where it really matters. That is life of the eternal spirit and not just matter. Any comment more or question?
I think, at least for me, it seems to be one of the hardest ones for us to go through it, because at least I see myself on that. Like in the level where I am, it's easy to keep playing the LP over and over and over again, the same situation, the same person, and bringing back the same emotion. And it's like a fixated idea. You get sick, you bring sickness to the environment. And sometimes it's not easy to see on myself, but then I look to someone who is in a worse situation regarding the same, and I said, "Oh my God, do I do the same?" Yes, I do. And I think it's move forward there. Joanna de Angelis is giving an incredible guideline for us to succeed. Move forward. Don't keep playing the same music over and over. We are not special in the sense of entirement, because sometimes the reason why you do that is because you think, why do I go through this? Why do I need to have this ungrateful person besides me? Yeah, why I'm going through this suffering? Why me? The whole world can go through that, but not me. Because whatever, no, if you are going through this experience, there is again a lesson to be learned. And if I'm not prepared for that lesson, it's okay. Move forward, do something good, be productive, be altruistic, take advantage of the time that being present to all of us in the same quantity, and using something that will allow you little by little to overcome that emotion. But it's easy to say, Gisara, hard to do it.
Yeah.
It requires a lot of discipline. Yeah,
But that's why I think she even start here. If you weren't successful in an attempt, forget about it. You start over optimistically.
yeah.
She knows, we know. It's still very hard for us to do that. Okay, let's read the next one. There are many blessings to be grateful for and to be praised. You have certainly suffered. However, that is the past. In the past, you smiled, dreamed, produced, loved, and received love 1,000 times. Why only remember the part that was not so good, the one that made you unhappy? Why elect bitterness in the detriment of jubilations? No one in the world has gone through both happy and sad experiences unscattered. So again, now she's emphasizing that we all have had good times and bad times. Why only focus on the bad times? Why only focus in the things that is the half uh, full empty, no, half empty, right? Or half filled. How are you going to see it? For the one that are optimistic is always see, oh, it's a half filled. For those that are pessimists, you'll say, no, I'm missing something. It's just half done. I don't remember how is the expression exactly, but you see, um, sometimes I give that example that we have like a board, all white, just a single black dot, and we ask people, what do you see? Everyone will say, I see the black dot. And there is 99.99% of the white, just that tiny dot, and this is what we see, this is what we focus. Is like, I mean, if we could think like that, can you imagine how much we would improve our relationships? How many friendships we completely damage because that person did something to you that you didn't like, and then this is over, this is it. I mean, we don't think about all the good times, all the good things we have experienced, all the learning, the exchanges. No, just that single thing is enough for us to destroy a relationship with partners, in our marriages, in our family, immediate family, just because, you know, they did something that for whatever reason didn't sit well, and this is it. I'm not going to give any other chance. And then we start, digging everything else. Oh, remember that, in 1984, also you did something that I didn't like, but I mean, it makes no sense. It makes no sense, especially when we think, or we should think, how inferior and weak we still are. How can we want so much from others that we cannot have ourselves? Maybe we are in the wrong because sometimes we make a person an ideal, and when we see, let's say, a more human side of that person, I mean, our world crumble. It's not the person's fault that you had an image that the person was, I don't know, a Francis of Assisi. It's us that have been unrealistic, thinking that there is anyone in this world that will not present weaknesses, that is not human to the point of making mistakes.
De Angelis started in the book The Psychology of Gratitude, and also many cites that on The Way, the Truth, and the Life in different ways but the same meaning, that gratitude is such a higher virtue that usually on earth we don't even have a clue what does that mean. Because to be grateful, this is in the psychology of gratitude, to be grateful is to be capable to honor your brother and your sister. When when you're truly grateful, we will not remember anymore the negative aspects of a brother or sister, because we are going to understand that everything comes from the grace of God. So there is no reason to expect anything from anyone than thyself itself. Yeah. But I like when she associates gratitude with the action of being a brother or sister.
That's
Truly.
wonderful. Yeah, that's right. That just normally we just talk about love, how much we don't know about love, but we don't know about gratitude as well, right? We don't know about it, but we are here trying to exercise and experience those refined emotions, sentiments, the best we can according to our possibility of involvement. But we already know the meaning of the world, and we know that somehow, even if in our imperfect way, we should be trying to exercise it. We should be trying to think about it. And I think it is very important. I think this, I mean, just this paragraph here, it is equivalent to a psychotherapy. Like, next time you catch yourself thinking, reminisce about oh, something horrible that you went through, think, no, I'm not going to think about it. Let me think about, in my childhood when there was not so much cars in the street. I could go and run and play ball and use my bike or whatever. Let's think about those good memories. And then she finished saying, oh, sorry. If metals were to refuse the furnace and the minimal utilities, the human necessities would be so reduced. If the cardiac pump refused to continue with its interminable action, both animal and human lives would be of short duration. Pain is the blessing that propels progress. Health is the stimulus towards progress. However, pain and health establish techniques that life utilizes for the promotion of all creatures. Therefore, free yourself from bitterness, complaints, and pessimism, recalling and reliving the good times. This way, you can feel emulated to proceed instead of keeping yourself in sadness and filled with discouragement. You decide to stop. Um, so here she's bringing different perspectives of situations that could be harsh, but that are responsible for maintaining life. What if our heart decide to say, you know what, I'm tired of keeping on beating without any grateful thought of saying, oh, thank God I have a heart that is beating properly and is maintaining my life. No more, right? And so following is in this pattern that she's giving to us, pain, health, everything, depending on how we are going to accept and view them in our lives, can be an instrument of progress. So It is our choice to linger on the negativity, on the bitterness, complaints, pessimism, or to just think about moving forward, like she said before. Things are difficult. Didn't work the way you wanted. Okay, let's try something different, or let's try it again. Because if we let all the discouragement to take over us, we will stop and we will miss a great opportunity that it is this life that she starts describing here is a gift of love. So, and once more, she comes here and says, bless is a blessing that pain propels progress. Let's start looking at those challenges from a different perspective. Sometimes it's only when it's hurting too much that we realize that we have to change our ways. Otherwise, we just say, "Oh, I have to cope with that. This it is what it is." No, it is not what it is, and it shouldn't be that. It should we should be keeping on aiming for more, and I think this is what Joanna de Angelis is actually trying to tell us here. Um, I was listening to a talk about Joanna de Angelis yesterday, and again, our friend Marlon, he talked about, comments that normally people make in relation to Joanna de Angelis, saying, oh, she's too difficult. And he says, this is the wrong vocabulary, difficult to read because, someone perhaps has the difficulty in writing or make it pompous in a way that is not going to be accessible to people. In this case, he was saying, and I agree completely that, she's a very wise spirit, intelligent spirit. She's writing to her level of wisdom. And even then, I'm sure she's trying to make it more palatable to us as much as she can, but she's bringing it very clearly, sometimes even poetically. I mean, in several parts of this message, when you read it completely, you see that she's making a poem here. And so it's very, very important. And I think we are very blessed for the spirit that has been giving so much to us and helping us to see life and to see and to look at ourselves from a different perspective. Let me see. Next week we have your cooperation. Okay. Um, any more comments or questions? Nope. Orlando. How to live in English. Oh, that's beautiful, Adilson. Adilson put it here from Paul to Philippines. I know how to live in need, and I also know how to live in abundance. Uh, that's fantastic. That is something that is hard, especially if we keep on, you know, moving from one to the other. is in a same incarnation. Thank you, Orlando. Okay, any more comments? Are you enjoying the study of Joanna de Angelis of this book? Okay. You know, as we all know, I mean, SGNY, we study all the books of Kardec, and we start the study actually after we finish. I don't know for what time the uh, Spirit's book. But the reason is that we like to bring some studies from Joanna de Angelis as well. It's because since in Spiritism we keep on emphasizing that the main goal is for us to better ourselves, to get to know ourselves, to understand life, and to understand and to have techniques, to have information on how to do it. Joanna de Angelis brings us all this tool. And I think that in this book, considering the variety of topics that she brought in relation to life, in relation to our behaviors, we have the opportunity of being really able to do that and to find more, understanding, to continue doing it. Okay, if no one else has anything else to say,
I've
yeah,
I think that is a it is a moment where it's just as you were pointing out, where in our spiritual journey where we make a decision of uh, take the bull by its horns and changing the way we see things. So instead of looking for the religion to take our pain away, take our problems away, and solving our problems, like yes, like Jesus, take my problems away, take my pain. I don't want to suffer. Take this person from my life, take this disease from my life. They are giving us all the tools. And look, that's how it is. And then you take the responsibility for your life. And that's because God gave us that. So you take it, you 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 take this and you assuming and you because you look at life, you look at people, and you look at the problems in a different way, and it's all up to you. So it's not the obsessors, it's not the others, it's not anything else, and everything is different. But then it's just very personal. All the elements are there, are in the text, that Jesus, and they're giving us everything. It's just a personal decision, the way that you're going to look at things. It's a long journey we're coming, and as you said, it's the elements are there for you. It's like a immense box of tools for us. You just have to make a decision and get that box and open and use the tools. It's just about the decision.
yeah, that's true. Thank you.
Brings me to the passage also. If you have the faith of a little mustard seed, you could remove mountains. And all these mountains that you see as obstacles, they are not obstacles, they are blessings. But because our level of our faith today, we still see them as something barring our evolution when it's not. So I think there will be a time in our lives that we have so much knowledge and experience through our faith that we will go to move navigating this journey in our life with so much more grace, because you're going to see the same situation with a different perspective. Yesterday, a dear friend of my sister that I know also very well passed away from Alzheimer, and very young. She died like, I think it was like 57 or 56, but for the past 80 years, she developed Alzheimer. And she was a very independent person, but not in a positive way. She thought that she could do everything by herself. She had a big school, and her mom passed away. She was capable to take care of her financially, and she had an adoptive sister. The past 8 years, who took care of her? Her adopted sister. So from the eyes of humanity, oh my God, she went through so much struggle. Now she's living a bed for the past 5 years or so. But from a spiritual perspective, she had such a huge opportunity to work on this relationship with her sister, to see that we are all codependable of one another, and that might be that we don't know how she went back to the spiritual realm, but might be that through these 8, 9 years of Alzheimer, she might come much lighter, yeah, spiritually speaking, than when she was back then. I think it's our perception. We still have a very materialist perception of life, and because of that, it gives us more suffering than it should be. As we evolve, we're going to see the same situations in a lighter way, I hope.
Okay, do you have a volunteer for the final prayer?
I can do it.
Okay, thank you, Barbara.
Dear friends, once more, we are so grateful for your presence. We are so grateful for the opportunity to be here, away but together, studying this lesson. We like to join our prayers to the prayers of all those who have been sending their thoughts to the healing of earth. I also would like to connect to all those who would like to be here today and couldn't study with us. Help us to make good choices, to work on behalf of others, because we know that work for others is working for ourselves. And it is with gratitude that we ask permission to end our studies of this Thursday with the grace of God, and so be it.